I decided to grind up to the Grandmaster rank online, and I ran into a lot of you Falcos that have the same bad habits that I used to have when I was a newer Falco player. I already made a video on what not to do with Falco, but one of the viewers suggested that I did a video on what you should do, and that combined with my experience grinding up to the top 50 just to give my buddy a little bit of some entertainment. It made me realize that there's some things I know that maybe would be best if I shared with all of you. So I'm just going to get into 4 quick things that you can learn that will make you a lot better at the game. You shouldn't really need to practice at all to do any of these things too, so that's a plus. Like, you won't need to go into training mode and grind it out. And to be honest, you don't even really need to know how any of this stuff works or why it's good. I am going to get into that in the short term just a little bit, but if you don't care about the explanation and you just want to break bad habits and give yourself good ones, you could just you could implement these things without even knowing why you're doing them. That's sort of my point. So, we'll just get into it. This is the first tip. Many of us have found ourselves with Falco in a situation like this, right? So let's say Marth is dash dancing, or Fox is dash dancing, or Falcon is dash dancing. We're just using Marth just cuz. And you're up on this platform and you want to come down from the platform. So you land like this, and then just use your imagination, pretend. In fact, you know what? We don't even need to pretend. I'll just be Marth. But pretend that the frames are tight here, right? So then Marth, he runs back in, and I fucked it up. Whatever. He comes in and he grabs you. That's the point. You get dash dance grabbed for falling like that a lot of the time. I'm not a 20xx expert, but you get the idea. So you do that, and then Marth ends up dash dance grabbing you. Well, really, you should fall like this. You should fall with a laser most of the time when you fall from a platform, or if we pretend that we're on FD, you should fall like, something like that. You fall with the laser from the sky, let's just say. And the reason you want to do that is because Falco's Dare is really powerful, and everybody wants to dash dance around it and get the dash dance grab. They're afraid of his down air. Everybody knows his down air is overpowered. And that's why, when we play Falco, we want to land with his down air. Because if it hits, you get a big combo. If laser hits, you don't get a big combo. Makes you not want to land with laser, but you gotta do it, because it's the only way to force someone who has any idea what they're doing to stop dash dancing and actually try to get under the laser, which would be the way to beat it. You'd have to get under this and attack Falco from beneath him. And if they did that, what would that lose to? Well, it would lose to down air, right? So you want to land with your laser instead of with your aerials, I'd say 3 out of 4 times in the neutral game. And then, when they start beating that, now you've opened up landing with down air and doing a combo out of it. Please keep that in mind. It's really, really, really important if you want to rank up or reach that next level with Falco. If you are landing like this all the time, you're not going to make it. You got to land like this with the laser. And maybe don't be out of practice completely like me and miss a bunch of them while you're trying to demonstrate it. But anyway, you see the point. I've been playing a lot of Fox, okay? Not my fault. It is my fault, but who cares? Land like that, or you're not going to make it. All right, let's go on to tip number 2. All right, tip number 2 is going to be something called dash neutral jump down air. So a lot of the time when we approach, we're approaching like this, and that's sort of the default that you'll see from people. They'll do some lasers, and then they'll go in like that, right? But what would have happened there? Marth would have dash dance grabbed me for trying to approach, because Fox would have done the same thing, and Falcon would have done the same thing, and that sucks because it makes you feel like you can't approach. But you don't have to beat that just by spamming lasers in place, like a lot of you newer Falcos do when you're playing on ranked. You can still get this opening, you just have to understand something called neutral jump. So, I'm going to go into the other corner to demonstrate this when Marth is done with his dash dancing. So when you normally approach, it'll look something like this. Go in like that. You'll end up standing right about here if you approach from the corner. But you can do a dash neutral jump where you don't go as far. Now, why is that important and how did I do it? First, we're going to get into how I did it. So, if you look up at the top of the screen where the frame data is, and don't worry, you don't have to be a frame data nerd to understand this. Just look up at the top. I'm going to go frame by frame here. Whenever Falco jumps, he sort of crouches like this, if you look at Falco. He always does this. It's called a jump squat, if you don't know. If you do know, just bear with me. We gotta explain it all real quick. So at the top it says knee bend. That's what this animation is called. As long as Falco is in knee bend, he can't do anything. But the direction that you're holding when you leave knee bend is going to influence Falco's path, his trajectory through the air. And if you hold forward during knee bend, you'll end up right around here when it's over. When the jump is over and you finish doing your aerial. But if you don't hold forward during knee bend, so I've let go of the stick right now while Falco's doing this jump squat animation. I've let go of the stick, and now that he's back in the air, I'm holding the stick forward again. And I'm going to do my down air. Notice how Falco doesn't go as far, but he does go forward a bit. It's a small approach, a little bit of a forward maneuver. You need to be able to do this, the dash neutral jump down air, because it's going to defeat people dash dancing, because you're going to approach like this and then go in like that. Or maybe you can approach like this and then just go in place like that. You see how it beats his dash dance instead of getting dash dance grabbed? You have to be able to do that if you want to open up people who are dash dancing. It's a trick, because in real time, people aren't going to be able to differentiate that from this. They're just not going to be able to. Even though when we're looking at it in training mode, they look different. It doesn't look different to someone who's playing the game. So approach like this instead of like this. It's just a lot better. You're going to open up more people that are dash dancing, and I want you to add that to your neutral game. As you use it more, you'll sort of understand why it's really important. I don't want to get too far in depth with it in this tutorial because it's just for mediocre players, but please start doing that. It will open people up who are dash dancing more. Let's move on to the next tip. All right, so my next tip is don't wave dash after you shine when you're in the neutral. Now, some of you are like, why the fuck wouldn't I do that? That's how you do a combo. You do it like this, and you just start beating up Marth, right? But no, you don't want to do that, because sometimes when you're in neutral, you might whiff your shine. Like, it'll look something like that for a lot of you, and then you end up wave dashing, right? So we're going to do it frame by frame. You end up wave dashing, and then what'll happen? Well, you know, probably if the Marth is mediocre, which, you know, we're playing online, so they probably are, they'll do something like this, and they'll just grab you for trying to wave shine. And you're like, what? I won neutral. That shouldn't have happened. And in a way, you're kind of right. It probably shouldn't have happened. But it's because of you and not because of the Marth being a shield grab spammer. You should actually, when you're in neutral game, instead of wave shining after your shine, you should do something like this, a shine grab. Because even if you connect or not, you'll still get them. Or you could do like a West Ball shine like that, or you could do the double down air, which does combo. Okay? This way, even if you whiff, you get them, and if you hit them, let's try and hit them. If you hit them, you still get them, right? It lets you combo anyways. So that's a pretty quick one. Hopefully that was self-explanatory. If I see any more of you doing this and then getting shield grabbed when you're playing the neutral game, I'm gonna cry if you do that to me. Don't do that to me. You want to see a grown man cry? Please, we're trying to win here, okay? Don't do that in neutral. Do a shine grab, do a West Ball shine, do double down air. Whatever you gotta do to get yourself to stop wave shining in neutral, just do it. And please remember, that only applies to the neutral game. If you're already doing a combo, you know, you go ahead wave shine to your heart's content. Whatever you think would be best to get the follow-up. We're not talking about that right now. Only in the neutral game, stop doing wave shine if you're unsure whether your shine's gonna hit or not. Alright, let's move on to the next tip. Alright, this is the last tip, and it's the shortest of all of them, but it's also probably the hardest one to learn. I said you're probably not going to need training mode, at least I think I did, but you might need a little bit for this depending on your skill set. So a lot of people, they do their double lasers like that. Don't do them like that. You look like a noob, first of all, because you're going to get smoked by someone crouching next to the ledge and spamming multi-shine or whatever nonsense like that, right? And everyone's been hit by something like that if they're a mid Falco and they do their double lasers like that. Instead, you want to focus your double lasers. You can either do them double high or just a single laser like that, but you can do them double high like that. That's rare. You don't usually need to do that. What I'm here to talk about is doing low ones like that. That's a single, but you can do a double. You see? You do low double lasers, and it will beat people that are just sitting at that ledge waiting to get you. A lot of you don't do this ever. You're only capable of doing that one, and that one sucks. Start doing it like this. How do you do it? You drop really low below the ledge, and then you jump back up. I use Y, and I use claw grip. So I drop really low, and then I jump up like that, and I start spamming B. You get lower lasers that way. You need to learn how to do this. If you can't do this, you're not going to make it. You got to be able to do it. So hopefully that's really self-explanatory, and you see why it's necessary, because it won't lose to people just crouching at the ledge like this, like the scrubby double laser works. So please learn that. That's my last tip. If you learn these 4 things, I would bet my life on you ranking up. I'm betting my life on you if you learn these things. Just please do it. If you have any questions, I will always clarify if you just message me on Discord. I also coach. If you just want to ask a quick question, obviously you don't need to pay me for that. Just send me a friend request on Discord. My username is in the description of the YouTube video. And you can also leave a comment, and I'll try to reply to that if you need clarification. So I appreciate you watching this, and have a good rest of your day.